Good evening, good evening, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Hector Dominguez. I'm here on behalf of the Cook County Assessor's Office. Um, and we want to welcome you all tonight to our Property Tax Assistance Workshop on Certificate of Heirs. So, very quickly, I am noticing that on Facebook we are having some type of technical difficulty. Um, Not sure what's happening. However, I do see that seven of you are viewing this, so someone is watching it somewhere. Might be YouTube. I'm not quite sure, but we're gonna keep it going anyways because I know that this is recorded, and that way we can share it somewhere else as well. My name is Hector Dominguez, and I'm here to have a great night with you all today. I want to thank you for being here. You literally could be anywhere else in the world, but you're here with me today. Maybe you are having dinner. Maybe you are driving and you're listening because you're not watching. Maybe you're just at the house hanging out and you came to hang out with us tonight. I thank you for your time. Let's get into why you're here today. So, we're going to cover a few different things, but we're going to talk about certificate of heirs today. As you all know, this is Fritz Kagan, the Cook County Assessor. We have a lot to just go over. I'm just trying to get my brain wrapped around it because I know tax bills just went out. I know you guys are all looking at your bills. Some of you all have received all of your discounts. Some of you all have not. Let's talk about what our office actually does. So we have 1.9 million different properties in Cook County, almost 2 million. And of that, it is our job to put a value onto these properties using a mass appraisal system. It is our job to give you discounts, assuming you applied and you met every requirement, right? That's like your homeowner, senior freeze. We're going to go all over that. We're going to go over all of that in a second. We're also responsible for the appeal process, which is not what we're talking about tonight. So I'm just going to skip right over that. But if you have a question, go ahead and throw that in there and we'll jump in on it. And here's what we don't do. We are not responsible for your tax bill. We are not responsible for your tax bill payment, mailing out your tax bill, anything like that. We are not responsible for the tax levies or the taxing districts in your specific area. And we are not responsible for the state's equalizer. So I do want to ask for forgiveness in advance. I am severely under the weather. I'm trying my best to make this happen for you all. So if you see me sipping water, just show me some grace. I appreciate it. But next, so we're going to go over all of our exemptions. We have a total of 8, and we're going to go over every single one of them. First, the homeowner exemption. This is for anyone who has owned and occupied their property as of January 1, 2022. That's it. If you apply for this exemption last year and you qualified, it should have automatically renewed going forward because the homeowner exemption is one of the exemptions that automatically renews going forward. Next, we have the senior citizen exemption. Now, this is for anyone who was born in 1957 or before, and you have owned and occupied that property at any time within 2022. So that's January 1, 2022, or December 30th, December 31st, December 31st, 2022. Anytime in there, you qualify for the senior citizen exemption. Please note that this exemption is also automatically renewed going forward as well. The low income senior citizen assessment freeze. This is what the senior freeze was. So that we don't confuse anyone, we're just going to call this a senior freeze. In order to qualify for the senior freeze, you must have owned and occupied that property for 2 consecutive January 1s. So that's January 1, 2021 and January 1, 2022. You must have been born in 1957 or before, and you cannot make more than $65,000 as a total household income. Please note that this exemption is not automatically renewed going forward because it is income based. I hope that makes sense. Now, there is something a little bit different this year. If you are already enrolled in the Aid to the Aged, Blind, or Disabled program, the SNAP program, the LIHEAP program, the Benefit Access program, or the Senior Citizen Real Estate Tax Deferral program, this means you already meet the criteria to be or to receive the senior freeze exemption. So all you would have to do is provide that information. I'm going to show you how to do that soon. I'll show you on the actual application where you write that at, but as long as you qualify for those, you automatically meet the requirements for our exemption. So that's kind of new. That's kind of cool. So people can kind of know if I'm doing this one, that means I will get this one also if I follow these directions. Next, we have the persons with disability exemption. This is for anyone who is disabled. Now, listen, our office has zero authority to tell you if you are disabled or not. So what our office does in exchange is we give you a P-tax form, and then you take that to your doctor, your physician, or your optometrist, and then they fill that out on your behalf. As they are filling that out, you will then return it back to our office, and then assuming all of that is done correctly, what will happen is you will get a discount on your tax bill. So in order to qualify, you must have been disabled in 2022. You must have owned and occupied that property as of January 1, 2022. And if you received this one last year, that means it was automatically renewed going forward for you as well. So I want to make this kind of easy for everyone listening and watching. Veterans with disability exemption. This is my favorite exemption. It's close to heart because I have a lot of veterans in my family. That's just what it is, right? So in order to qualify, you must have a service-connected disability of 30% or greater. So 30 to 49%, you get X removed off your tax bill, depending on where you live at. If you are 50 to 69%, you get X removed off your tax bill, depending on where you live at. And if you're 70% or greater, you don't pay property taxes at all as long as your property value is not greater than $800,000 for this year. All that to say, if you are 70 to 100%, there's a great chance you won't pay property taxes at all. Now, there are some little caveats that we do want to share with you all. Very first thing is, if you are a non-remarried surviving spouse of the disabled veteran and they receive that exemption, you also qualify for that exemption as well, as long as you were living in Cook County when your significant other passed away. Right? I hope that makes sense. Secondly, we also understand that some veterans are permanently disabled or totally disabled, 100% disabled per the VA. So it doesn't make sense that you have to apply for this every single year because you are permanently disabled. If that is you, you will file for this exemption and then you won't have to apply for it again going forward unless there's a deed change. So that's kind of new. This is what your eligibility letter looks like. We've kind of blacked out some sensitive information, but if you go all the way to the bottom, you'll see where your disability rate or percentage is, and then you'll see the kind of the verbiage, the language that says totally and permanently disabled here. There is a policy, not change, but also highlight, if that makes sense, right? We want to just throw a little attention on some stuff. So veterans that own a multi-unit apartment building will receive a prorated exemption. So for folks who have 3 units and you are living in one and you're renting out the others, we know that in the past, some folks were getting the exemption for the entire building. Now we want to highlight that this is not the case. You will only be receiving that exemption on your specific unit. The returning veterans exemption. So sorry. This is for anyone who's returning from active duty. So this means it's kind of unique because you get a 2-year kind of exemption. It's for the year you return and for 1 year later. So what are the qualifications? You must be an Illinois resident who has served in the U.S. Armed Forces, National Guard, or Reserve Forces. You must be returning from active duty with like real conflict with the United States of America. And you must have owned and occupied that property January 1 of 2022. The long time exemption, I feel this is the one we're going to get the most questions about. But the long time exemption, this is unique. It is an exemption that gives you a discount for living there for a long time. So anyone who has owned and occupied their property for 10 consecutive years, so that's January 1, 2012, all the way through January 1, 2022. You could have owned it before that, but to make 10 years, it has to be January 1, 2012. Your total household income cannot be greater than $100,000, and your EAV, your equalized assessed value, must have increased significantly within those 10 years. So now let's be clear. I did not say your tax bill must have increased. I did not say your property value must have increased, which that is kind of tied to your EAV. But to be more specific, your equalized assessed value must have increased significantly within those 10 years. This exemption is not auto renewed as it is income based as well. So you will have to apply for this annually. Our office actually sends out applications around April for this. So if you received an application, congratulations, you qualify. If you did not, unfortunately, you probably don't. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say we get it right 1,000% of the time. I wish. But the reality is that if you believe you qualify and we just didn't do our job correctly, I will at the end drop a link down for you to contact us directly. As a matter of fact, let me do that now while we're here. So we can just get that out the way. Give me 1 second. Contact. That way, if anyone's watching now and they have to go, they can absolutely just throw that in there and they can click on this link, and that way they can connect with us directly without going through any red tape, any nonsense. And here we go. I'm copying and pasting. If you want to connect with us directly, please connect with us directly here. Just dropped the link in the comment section. So there you go. And I see we have some questions. We're going to do all these questions at the very end. My questions are my favorite part. So please, we're going to make it happen. Home improvement exemption. This is unique in that, let's do some simple math. If your property is worth $100,000 and you do improvements up to $75,000, your home should be worth what? $175,000. But what the home improvement exemption does is it freezes that improvement for 4 years. So instead of being taxed on it like everybody else would, you are not. It is frozen for 4 years. Anything greater than 75, so like 76,000, you're responsible for that extra 1,000. What actually qualifies is residential property. And to make it as easy as humanly possible, anything that increase the size of the property or change the dimensions of the property is what we're really focusing on. Here, you'll see the homeowners exemption, the senior citizen exemption, and the person with disability exemption are highlighted in yellow because those are automatically renewed going forward. If you look at the veterans with disability exemption and the home improvement exemption, those are highlighted in red, and that's because they are automatically renewed going forward, but with special stipulations. Certain things have to match up and happen in order for that to happen. Here is what your tax bill looks like. Everyone knows what this looks like. You're probably looking at it right now. Bottom left-hand corner is under tax calculator. That's where your discounts are. So there you should see homeowner, senior citizen, senior freeze, disabled person, all of those. If you believe you qualify, but you don't see anything there, or you believe you applied on time, but you don't see anything there, then this next section is for you. That's exactly what we're going to be talking about. How to apply for a certificate of error. So as of this moment, as of November 6th, 6/13, we can go back all the way to 2018. So we can go refunds or recoup kind of exemptions you should have been getting, but for whatever reason you did not, for 2018, 2019, 2020, 21, and 22. We can go do 5 years of refunds. And ladies and gentlemen, when I say 5 years of refunds, that's a minimum of like $600 minimum. And I've done certificate of errors where we've gotten people thousands with an S back. And if you do it now, there's a good chance that you'll get this money by Christmas. So I'm just saying, if you want to have a nice Christmas, we could make something happen here. So how do you do this? How do you apply, right? It's super easy. You go to cookcountyassessor.com, and we want you to do this online. Please help us save the tree. If you apply online, it is easier to keep track of your filing because you will have what's called a filing ID number versus trying to mail it in and then it going to the post office, and from the post office going to the assessor's office, and from the assessor's office having to be opened, processed, submitted, and then you still have to figure out how to track it down. When if you do this online, you'll know within 24, 48 hours what your filing ID number is, and you can track your submission that way. So let's start. First, you would just log in. Actually, you go to cookcountyassessor.com, click on exemption, click on certificate of error, file online, and then log in. Once you log in, if you already have a account with us, just go ahead and log in. And if not, you just make one. And then from here, wherever you see a checkbox or a red star or asterisk, you need to fill this out. A blank box, you need to fill this out. So please start with your PIN number and go right ahead. And then from there, you have to fill out some information. Just let us know who you are. Remember, wherever there is a checkbox or a red star asterisk, you need to fill that out. So go ahead and fill this information out and just click next. And then from here, this will auto-populate for you, and then you just need to fill out wherever the red star asterisk is. You're going to start noticing a pattern. Wherever that is, go ahead and fill that information out. Again, this will auto-populate for you, so please just go ahead and fill this out correctly. And remember, wherever there's a checkbox, you have to complete that task. You will know if you're doing this incorrectly, because if you try to move forward without completing every single step, a giant "this is wrong, would you like to fix it now" is going to pop up on your screen. So you will definitely know if you're doing it right or wrong. And then here, just let us know which exemption you're applying for. Which certificate of error you're applying for and for what year. And if you qualify for every year, check every single year. And then, so sorry. And then fill out that information, confirm everything that you have entered, make sure everything is correct. And then you're just going to keep kind of doing that step, wash and repeat, right? Here is where you submit additional documentation if you need something. Each exemption requires something a little bit different, so just pay attention to what it's asking for. And then you might say, well, how am I supposed to upload it? Well, easy. You just grab your phone, take a picture of whatever document you need or whatever ID you need, and then you submit that and turn it in. And then from here, you just need to go ahead and fill out this affidavit very quickly. And again, you know these answers, guys. I know this might seem overwhelming, but it's not, I promise. And again, you know the answers to these questions. There's no trick question here. There is no finessing. There is no trickery. Just go ahead and fill it out. And then from here, just go ahead and make sure everything is submitted. And whatever you need, make sure that is turned in as well. Upload whatever you need to upload, where you need to upload it at. And that'll make sense when you're looking at this. It'll say upload. And then from there, you just want to finish the process, right? So here we need your name, we need your phone number, and we need your email address. And then, ladies and gentlemen, after you do that and you click submit filing, you will get a filing ID number. Now, the question we always get is, well, I just finished my certificate of error. When do I get my adjusted bill? Or when do I get my refund? So let's define these things very quickly. An adjusted bill is, the bills are due December 1st. So if you go into if you go to the downtown location and you submit a certificate of error, you're going to get what's called an adjusted bill. That is a brand new bill showing the reduction or the deduction of your exemption, depending on what's happening. And that is your new bill, and that you can pay immediately. That's called an adjusted bill. If you do this after the deadline, then you will receive a refund from the Cook County Treasurer's Office. Those refunds take a lot of time to process. So processing time is 6 to 10 weeks. And that kind of depends on what step that it's in that process. So please just know, let's see, we're on the 6th. So if let's say you did it tonight, let's look at a calendar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So anytime between Christmas and January 15th, that's kind of when you will get this information back, this refund back. So please be aware of that. If you want to check this information, you can. You go to cookcountyassessor.com. You can check your exemption history, your appeal history, your assessment history. All kind of information is on our website. If you want to connect with us directly, I would encourage you to do so. So there are a couple different ways you can do that. You can call us, 312-443-7550. You can connect with us on social media. That's what I recommend. When we are not doing these workshops, we are all on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, on YouTube, on LinkedIn, answering questions. So please, all you have to do is open up your camera app, hover over this QR code. Oops, click. Hang on. Come on, you're embarrassing me. Then you have to click on the Linktree account that pops up. And then from there, you can do, this never works, but one day it will. But you can kind of see, there you go. You can kind of see from here, you can find all of our social media. You can kind of tap in with us everywhere. You can do everything from that QR code. So that's what I would encourage you to do. You can also make an appointment to come see us downtown at 118 North Clark, Markham Courthouse, 16501 South Kedzie. the Skokie Courthouse, 5600 West Old Orchard Road, room 149, or the Bridgeview Courthouse, my old stomping grounds, 10220 South 76th Avenue, room 205. That's upstairs, up the escalator to the left. So you can do all of that, and I believe it is time to let's remove this and let's jump into some of these questions. I see we got some questions, asking all the questions. Let's see. This is a YouTube question worth 20 points. R. Green says, who should I contact to make sure my VA disability application did not show on my tax bill? You mean, you're probably asking, who do you contact because it didn't show up? I applied via ABL this summer to avoid this. So ABL, assessed by legal, that's a kind of different situation. You definitely want to contact us directly. Actually, use the link that I dropped in here. Let me see if I can find it really quick so I can start it right here. I just favored it, Mr. Green or Mrs. Green. Sorry. Go ahead and use that link so that we can send that to the correct department for you. We can do that as soon as we're done here. That way they have it for you in the morning. What are the other questions? Let's see. Joyce James says, is there a place near me I can go to get help to lower my taxes without hiring an attorney? Zip code 60631, northwest side of Chicago. So that doesn't really help. However, if your question is, my value is too high and I want to contest that, absolutely. You can look at any video with my face on it because I'm going over this in depth on other videos. Just look for anything that says appeals, or you can go to the Cook County Assessor's office and file an appeal there, or you can go to cookcountyassessor.com, click on appeal, click on file online appeal, right? You can do it all by yourself. It's free. You don't need a lawyer to do any of this. It's self-explanatory. It's literally the same process I just walked you through right now. But if your question is, my tax bill's really high and I want to contest my tax bill, unfortunately, you can't do that unless there is a factual error, meaning you're missing a discount, you're missing an exemption. So I hope that makes sense. If you're trying to contest your value and your township was open, I know it's not open right now, but it was open, you could have done that. But what it sounds like you're saying is, my bill was really high and I want to contest that. And unfortunately, you cannot unless there's a factual error with your discount amounts. Let's see what else we have. I don't know what your name says. Message quiz HPL1. I don't know, probably your gamer tag. I'll look you up when we're done. How do I know if I qualify for an exemption? Super easy. Shout out to my director. She was putting the links in here while we were talking. And I know that I just saw it. Give me a second. I will highlight that one right here. Boom. I just favored it, and you will see it. You go to cookcountyassessor.com, click on the word exemptions, and all of our exemptions are listed along with their qualifications. So that's the best way for you to do that. Hope that helps. What else do we have? Chris says, are you going to talk about reassessments? Unfortunately, I am not. We never received a letter telling us about an increase. The second installment was a big surprise. When can we appeal Niles Township? So Niles Township is closed. However, give me a quick second. Niles Township was open September 19th through October 20th. So what happens now is, if you missed your deadline with the assessor's office, you can appeal with the Cook County Board of Review. You would have to contact them directly. Cook County Board of Review, just Google them, and you would have to contact them directly to see when your township opens for them. Alternatively, or additionally, next year around September, October, your township might open again, and that's when you can appeal with us. What else do we have here? Let's see. Let's scroll down. Can we still appeal if they close the open window time? Great question. No, you cannot. Not with the Cook County Assessor's Office. You cannot appeal once your township is closed. However, you can appeal if your township is open with the Cook County Board of Review. So you would just have to contact them directly and see if you qualify. I'm sorry, if they're open for your township or not. Just Google could count. Actually, let me see if I can do something. Hold on. Let me see. I've never done this before, but let's find out. Cook County Board of Review. What I'll do is I will throw that link to their um, got it. And I'll drop it here. Cook County Board of Review. I just dropped it into the chat. So it's loading in the chat. There we go. Now it's in there. So hopefully that helps. Contact them directly. I don't want to give you misinformation, false information. I hate when people do that. What else do we have? Gary says, hi, what can I do if I appealed for a missing homeowner exemption last year and it was granted, but it wasn't applied this year? Great question, Gary. So let me help you with some terminology, some language, right? You did not appeal for a missing exemption. You applied for a certificate of error, which is what we're talking about now. So great job. But that means if you apply for a certificate of error, that means it was never applied for on time. So because it wasn't applied for on time, it didn't get caught this year, so it did not auto renew. What happens is you have to apply on time for it to be automatic. So this year, the deadline, I believe, was August 4th. So if it was not submitted before August 4th, that's why you did not receive it. So I would encourage you to set yourself a reminder every January, February, March, April, around March, April, that's when the new applications become available. So right now on your phone, literally go to your calendar and go to March, I don't know, March 1st. Probably not. March 15th and go, hey, set an alarm to contact the assessor's office for the homeowner exemption. So this way you are online, you are on time, and you never have to deal with this again. Hope this helps, Gary. Linda says, my mother is turning 65 in 2024. When should I apply for the senior exemption? So that I'm assuming that means your mom was born in 1958. If that is the case, next March, April, that's when you want to apply for the senior citizen exemption. Hope that helps. Thank you, Anna Ellie. Appreciate it. What else do we have here? Thank you for joining us. I was looking for other questions. I got excited. I'm sorry. I apologize. Well, thank you so much for being here. I know that you guys give up a lot to hang out with us. I know that you're probably starving, trying to have dinner. I'm going to go make some food. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for your time. You literally could be anywhere else in the world doing anything else, but you're here with me. So I appreciate it. I hope you gain some knowledge. Hope you can help some other people. Share this with your neighbor. Share this with your friends. Be a good neighbor, like Mr. Rogers said. Love you guys. Be safe, be wise, be blessed. Have a great. Oh, wait a minute. We have another question. Laura says, if both registered owners are seniors, should both apply for the exemption? Great question. So what I would do, Laura, is I would have whoever the oldest person is apply because they would get it first, if that makes sense. Now, if you're both the exact same age, then it doesn't matter. But if someone is older, I would have them do it. So you would get just get it first, right? Thank you, Yolanda. Thank you so much for telling me to feel better. I pray I do. I'm not feeling too hot. I'm trying to make it happen for you all. So thank you again. Thank you for all the kind words. You guys have a great night. Good night. Love you guys. Be safe. Be wise. Be blessed. Peace.